We are live.
Back live with another episode of Let's Talk Fish, 2 weeks in a row. And I think that's a record for 2022, isn't it, Jeff? He can't hear me. He's checking the sound right now. We went through this earlier. I said, Jeff, if I'm talking, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
If I got my earphones.
But anyway, yeah, 2 weeks in a row for LTF episodes. Unfortunately, we are missing Smoke tonight. Smoke, he got back from Watts Bar where he had a pretty solid finish. I believe he finished, I know he made the day three cut. I call it day three cut. It's not day three cut for them. It's a certain round.
Yeah. Qualifying round.
No, that's the initial round, isn't it? Elimination round? No. Sudden death round?
It's a sudden death, I think.
It's one of the 7.
There's a bunch
You
of
don't know either.
It's hard to keep up with it. I don't know.
It's confusing. But anyway, he got a big check. He didn't get a little check, got a big check. That's what we say anyway, got a big check. So, which in our event would mean, in reference to a Bass Elite tournament, he made it to day 3. So, good finish for Thrift. I know he's doing really good in the points this year, too. He keeps, we got a couple of brand new viewers that have not caught a live show yet. Corey, appreciate you tuning in. Mike, you're way off, by the way. Mike's already chiming in on trivia question answers. But real quick, knockout round. Thank you, Corey. New viewer live for the first time, and he gave us some good insight on the BPT tour. All right. So real quick, big shout out to Angler's Choice Marine, presenting sponsor of this show. I'm not going to sit here and talk about our sponsors for 30 minutes. Don't worry. But seriously, if you're in the market for a new boat, especially a Ranger boat, go check out Angler's Choice Marine. They got 3 locations: Lexington, North Carolina, Spindale, North Carolina, and Martinsville, Virginia. And if you've ever experienced an Angler's Choice experience, you know what I'm talking about. They're good before the sale, after the sale. They take good care of the customers. They're great service departments, great mechanics, and just great people. Been in business a very, very long time and have a great, great reputation in the industry. So check out Angler's Choice. I know they got new boats rolling in still. I know the new R boat, the new Ranger R boat that Thrift and I are running this year. I've had a lot of people ask me about it, and it's a really impressive boat. I've ran Ranger boats it's been 15 plus years, and which means I've had about 15 different Ranger models. And that R boat, to me, as far as storage and layout, is the best Ranger I've ever been in. And I'm not just saying that because it's the new one, but it truly is. The technology in these boats is amazing now. The ride of the new R boat, the size of the seats, every Marshall that gets in my boat, it's like, good Lord, look at the seats in this thing. And it truly is. I mean, it's a gigantic seat. But the cushion, the spring, the fact that thing is the simple size of that seat makes a difference in rough water. But all the Marshalls that have been in my boat say that's the smoothest riding boat they've ever been in rough water. Now, I must praise myself for a minute, KJ. KJ's out there blistering down the lake.
The old Gambler.
And a Gambler running like 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's hard to beat the Gambler.
His boat's faster than my boat. I'll go ahead and throw you that. I'll admit, his boat's much faster than my boat, probably. But that is, it does have a lot to do with the driver of the boat and and how comfortable the ride can be. Because I know there's some guys out there that drive a little more, let's say, aggressive.
A little aggressive. I might be a little aggressive, when I drive every now and then. But I ain't going to lie.
You're not like Brian New aggressive.
No, I mean, I'm not, completely out of the water, but I'm getting there.
You're lifting, but you're not leaving.
I'm not flying.
Yeah, you're lifting, but not leaving.
Zaldane did tell me the other day when we blasted off for Pickwick the second day, he looked at me and he's like, dude, I think that is the highest I've ever seen a bass boat jump out of the water. He said, I've seen all the pictures.
You mean when you took out, took out your whole shot?
The whole shot. We blasted off. Well, I hit a wave as soon as we blasted off, and I just went completely airborne. I was like looking at the stars when we went, and I landed back down and took off. But he was behind me.
On blast off, you went airborne?
Yeah, on blast off.
Lord have mercy. But everything was all right. You didn't break nothing.
No, I didn't break nothing.
Your Marshall was okay.
Yeah, he was still holding on.
Okay. That's why we wear life jackets, folks. All right, so topic tonight, KJ's keepers, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But first, I know that might sound confusing, but we're really going to get into that here in just a little bit. We do have a trivia question at the end of the night, like we always do on Let's Talk Fish. The giveaway is sponsored by none other than Queen Tackle. He's got all kinds of goodies. You want to tell them what we got for the giveaway, KJ?
We got a little bit of everything. We got flipping jigs. We got our new live sonar jig heads. Hopefully we'll get to talk about them a little bit. Some switchblades, swim jigs, hammer shakes, hammer heads. We got a little bit of everything.
All right, so well over $50-$60 value in that.
Oh, yeah.
Queen Tackle, I've used a ton of their products over the years. As a matter of fact, you brought me a bunch of jigs, and I just realized I don't think I've paid you for those jigs yet. Where'd you bring? You brought me a bunch of Fork.
Yeah,
Lake
Fork.
Fork. Yeah, he brought me a bunch of jigs at Lake Fork, and I had ordered a bunch from KJ, and that's what your dad's probably saying right now. He said, "Hey, Matt never paid us for those jigs." No, I'm just kidding, Jeff. But anyway, they make a phenomenal product. Everything they make is high quality, tournament ready, and tournament proven stuff. I can promise you that.
A lot of the guys, it's what's crazy is our product, man. Like we have really high quality product. You know, we even have like coffee scented skirts in our materials and everything else. And everything we deal in is tungsten. And
everything y'all do is tungsten.
Everything we deal is tungsten. And I'd say almost probably at least a quarter of the elite guys. Out of the 90 boats out there, there's probably a quarter of them I know for a fact that use our stuff.
Yeah.
Like religiously, they buy it from me. Like they call me up, like you buy it from me. I've had plenty of other people do the exact same thing.
Right.
And they just can't talk about it, you know, sponsorship wise,
sure,
this, that, and another.
sure. But you can.
Yeah, I can. But it shows. It's like, you know, that it's good stuff, and them guys are like they believe in it, and I truly believe that tungsten makes a difference.
Oh
and,
yeah. If you're fishing tournaments in this day and age, and you haven't got on the tungsten train yet, just in general, you probably ought to consider it. I'm just going to leave it at that. We could talk about that for days, but yeah. So KJ's here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate
he's
you
filling
having
in
me.
for Thrift. Well, Thrift got back from Watts Bar, and I text Jeff the other day, said we're gonna have a show Tuesday, 2 weeks in a row, man. This is great. And I text Thrift. He's like, I'm at the beach, and I'm like, oh, cool. Let me holler at KJ and see if KJ can come down. Because you remember, we haven't. So the last time we had KJ on Let's Talk Fish, that he was actually a guest on the show, you and your dad were in the studio, and it was right before you were getting ready to kick off your elite career.
Yep.
All right. So that makes this show even cooler because the topic tonight, KJ's Keepers, doesn't really apply to his elite career as much as a little something else that we're going to talk about a little bit. But I do want to talk about first, you've been on the elites now for a little over a year and a half, a little over a season and a half.
Yeah.
So we got 3 tournaments left, so we're, 6 deep this year. And talk about your expectations. We talked about that a little bit before, but now that you've experienced a full season on the elites, which you had a great first season, by the way.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And qualified for the Classic. Not many rookies can say they qualified for the Classic their first year on the elites. And is doing pretty good this year. I mean, second year. They always say the sophomore slump. You ever hear sophomore slump in professional fishing? And if I'm not mistaken, I think my sophomore year on the FLW tour, which is a long, long time ago, you're probably in middle school, it might have been my worst season ever in my professional career. So for that being said, KJ's pretty much sitting on the Classic bubble right now in points,
Like
which is
44th right now.
which is basically mid pack. So that's still pretty solid. You're in good shape. 3 tournaments left. You have some consistent finishes, and you'll be back in the Classic in 2023. But talk about your first season. Talk about your second season leading up till now. Some of the things that you expected to see, some of the things that might have surprised you, the competition, the people you've met, the sponsors, new sponsors that you have. That's what this show's for. But, let everybody know about KJ's experience as an elite.
Well, I mean, my first year, as an elite, man, I was nervous as a polecat going into it. So, like, everywhere we showed
Nervous
up
as a polecat.
I mean, nervous as a polecat, yeah. And, dude, we'd show up to these places, and, Sabine River, like, I had a good finish, the top 10 down at Sabine, and, it was one of my better finishes. But, dude, I showed up to that place. I'm like, dude, where do I go? This thing's massive.
Oh, it's so massive,
huge.
yeah.
And for me, I show up to these places I've never been to before in my entire life. And you can go 100 miles this way, 100 miles another way, 100 miles the opposite way. You can go 3 or 4 different ways 100 miles. You don't know, where do you start? I started on Google Maps and started looking and trying to find some stuff. But, I was lucky enough to find a decent area and stumbled on some fish. But, when I fished, throughout the season, I had some ups and downs, in my first year. And my Loudon tournament was a real tough struggle. And what's crazy about that tournament,
it probably wasn't as bad as it was for me. Where'd you finish?
I don't remember. It was like 77th or something.
I think I was like 81st.
It was a bad one.
That
but
year.
what's crazy is I was on them in practice during that tournament. And then just my bite died the first day, but I think that was part of the rookie nerves that I had, because like I look back at it now, and the second day of the tournament, I was catching them with like throwing a shad wrap, winding it really slow, and you know, twitching it, pausing on like
Carolina style.
Yeah, exactly. And I was catching them in practice, doing it really good, but I didn't realize how slow I was actually fishing in practice. And the first day of the tournament, I got out there and I started fishing. I kind of got in like that rookie kind of nervous jitters and started
just winding it too fast.
Just going too fast. And then like I never caught a fish. I zeroed the first day of the tournament, and I was getting at least like 8 to 15 bites a day in practice.
Oh wow, yeah, that was good. That was strong.
For then, you know, and everybody else was like, they was like, dude, I ain't catch but 1 or 2 fish, yada yada yada. It's like I think I might do really good. And the second day I went back out, and then I had like 13 and a half or something like that, which wasn't no big giant sack.
It wasn't that tournament. That's a big bag in that tournament.
Yeah, it's a decent bag. And, you know, I was like, that second day, it took about till like 9, 10 o'clock. I was like, dude, quit being stupid. Slow down. And I slowed down. As soon as I started slowing down, it's like I started just catching fish. And then I had a decent bag that day, but I fell too far down after zero in that first day, and it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, but that 13 pounds, when you look at the end of the season, was a big deal.
Yeah, and it helped, and it made it to where I made it to the Classic. And that, you know, Classic experience, man, that was incredible. I mean, if I could get my goal every single year is make to the Classic.
Once you fish one, you never want to miss one.
Yeah, you don't want to. I mean, that was incredible.
The Classic is an event that it's definitely in its own category. And, you know, I fished a lot of Forest Wood Cups over the years, and it just didn't, you know, we had some pretty big cups now. Don't get me wrong. We had some where we had some, you know, they bring a big name country artist and it draw a lot of fans, big crowds. And it was, they were big events. But the Classic just has this different, I don't know what to say. It just has this different feeling about it. You know, when you drive into that arena, especially for your first time.
Yeah.
Because my first time was only a couple years back, you know. So that's, I mean, describe that, because you said it was a you know, experience that you never want to miss again, but why? Like, tell the viewers like that don't get
man, that just the experience of, here's what got me, and this is what hit me the most, is whenever I was sitting there about to go through the weigh-in, about to roll out at the big stage, Big Dreams, you know, I've been sitting there my whole life, and I dreamed about making it to the Classic ever since I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. And I was out there in that crowd wanting to be in one of those boats rolling through. Because I've went and watched all the Classics. You know, my first Classic I went and watched was at Lake Wiley. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I fell in love with
04 when Takahiro won?
Yeah, when Takahiro
You know, it's the first Classic I ever attended also.
Really?
Yep.
No way, that's awesome.
But wait, how old were you in 04?
I was little. I don't know. Let's see, I'm 25 now, so...
Lord have mercy.
Born in 96.
You were like 7.
Yeah, I was little.
I
remember going up.
Yeah, you were like 8 years old.
Yeah, and I remember going up and looking at the fish tanks, and like I was like mesmerized because I was so little. It was just like, man, how the heck do they get these fish in here, like in these big tanks? You know, I was like that little.
Were you the kid that wonders where they went when they handed them to somebody under the stage?
Yeah, it's like, where are they going to?
The troll under the stage?
They just throw them down in the hole.
Yeah, the trap door. But yeah, that's
And then you get there after you've dreamed about it your whole life. You get to it and actually do it and go through it, and it's just
surreal.
Like, you're here, you're doing it. This is what you dreamed on. You dreamed your whole life of doing it. And you're actually doing it right now. It was a dream come true. When I rolled through it, blast off, like that first day, dude, I was like tearing up because like it was. I mean, I've worked my whole life to get there. You know,
to be at
like,
that moment,
to be there at that same exact time. You know, rolling out that 22 Classic. It was, you know, dream come true. But I want to do it again.
Yeah.
That's why I want to get back for sure.
Well, you ain't you're well on your way to be doing making back-to-back Classics, and next year it just happens to be at Loudon Tellico again. Yep. And you and I both owe that place some revenge. I believe that's the last time we were there.
No kidding.
So what's up, Mike, Scott, everybody, Gary? What's up, Daniel? Thanks for the kind words. Marty said he's listening to why he's fishing a Tuesday night derby.
I like that.
I do. I love that, Marty. Don't forget at the end, if you're not netting a big one, to get in on the trivia question tonight, because we got a good giveaway from Queen Tackle. Ryan, I promise you, we got plenty of southern heat. He said it's 104 today in Michigan.
Holy smokes!
Is that normal?
No, that's not normal. I mean, I'm not from Michigan, but that can't
I've
be
never
normal.
been to Michigan, but
Yeah.
because of that comment, I'm never
104.
going.
Yeah, that's that's a little abnormal. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say 104 for Michigan's not your average June temp. It's got to be some kind of record, right, Ryan? I mean, it's got to be some kind of record. Ryan B, what's up, Ryan? He said it's been a year, but that's when Chris Lindahl and Ryan were in the studio with us. Went fishing. That was the winners of our 100 show trivia giveaway, and we gave away. I don't know if you even remember or know about it, KJ. We gave away a fishing trip with Brian and I, and paid their expenses to come here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Come to sit in on a show. Then we took them fishing, gave them all kinds of goodies from the sponsors, and we're gonna have to do that again, maybe at show 200 or something, which at our rate might be in 10 years.
This is 127. I think.
Oh, is this 127?
I think so.
All right, so we're getting there. Not too much. Not too. Not too far. Not too
About
far.
2028.
About 2028, Jeff said. All right, so rolling over into after your first year, your first classic, which was actually this year. This season, what's your favorite lake? I got to ask you, what's your favorite lake you've been to so far on the elite schedule that you previously had no experience on?
Had no experience on.
Yeah. You can't say the Sabine River because you made a top 10 there,
Yeah, I
because I know
know.
that's not your favorite fishery.
It's
either.
not, but I mean, I
When you're
kind of
catching-
I liked it. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
when you're
kind of
catching
figured
13
it out.
inches,
You
it can't be your favorite fishery.
Yeah, but let's see.
Where you hadn't been to, because anybody that doesn't know, KJ fished in college at Bethel University under a fishing scholarship, and he's got a lot of tournament experience regionally and locally. But there are some lakes that you visited with the elites that you've never been to before.
Champlain last year was my favorite.
Oh, you had never been to Champlain?
I never been to Champlain, and dude, that place is just insane.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy.
Oh, dude, you can go just down the bank fishing. It don't matter what you're doing. You can just go catch fish. Like, you can catch 3-pounders.
Right.
It's crazy. I've never seen anywhere like that in my life.
Champlain is a very unique fishery, and that's always one of my top fives. Like, if anybody asks me bucket list lakes, where's somewhere I should go if they're just a hardcore bass fisherman and they want to take a trip somewhere. Not only is Champlain a phenomenal fishery, but it's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it is.
You think about New York and people get the wrong impression. We talked about this on the show before, but they think about the city and things like that, and they
Upstate
think about,
New York is absolutely beautiful.
It's unbelievable.
I
And
mean, I
we
love that
go
place.
there in a couple weeks. We go there to go over to Clayton, which is the host city for the St. Lawrence event this year. And you better keep an eye on that event if you like big smallmouth, because there will be plenty
There
of
will
giant
be some
smallmouth
big ones
waiting.
caught, no doubt.
All right, so rolling into this year, sitting 44th, right, in the standings.
Correct.
3 tournaments left. What do you feel? How do you feel about Oahe and Mississippi River? Have you been to either one of those fisheries?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you've
So,
been to St. Lawrence.
I've been to St. Lawrence, and I've fished it before. But see, now, we fished it about the same time as we did last year. We're going back up there.
It is. It's almost the same week, I think.
I think it's
Yeah.
like the same dates almost.
Excuse me.
And, last year I struggled at St. Lawrence. Like, it was a big time struggle. But like, my problem was I went shallow and tried forcing like a shallow bite for the first like day or two of practice. And it was like cloudy and overcast. And them fish they stayed out deep. And then the third day of practice, it was still like cloudy. I went out deep and I fished, and I caught them pretty good. So then I fished deep during the tournament. Well, it got sunny, and them fish pulled up during the tournament. And I completely missed the whole shallow bite because I didn't even think it was there. And there's a lot of guys that done really well in that, 8, 12-foot grass. And
Yeah.
And I tried forcing a dragon bite out in the channel, and that's just not my cup of tea, not my strengths. But I was trying to play it safe because I was like just about won Rookie of the Year last year.
Yeah.
I missed winning it by 1 point.
And it
So-
was because of that event.
Event.
You could say that, but it was because of
Yeah,
everything.
everything. But that was one of my worst finishes.
But you were leading it going into that event, weren't
I
you?
was.
Yeah.
I was leading it by like 10, 15 points.
Yeah.
And I just I don't know if it was the nerves, like I don't know what it was, but dude, it just got to me or something. And I really think it's just the fact that I didn't go with my strengths, because I was like, man, I feel like I can catch some big smallmouth shallow. I feel like I can catch some big ones shallow. Never did get on anything shallow, so I just said, heck with it. I caught a few out deep. I'm just gonna try and make it this tournament. And I tried just making it, and it didn't pan out at all for me.
Yeah, I actually saw you. We talked in practice during that tournament. I remember that was a weird event. I was I was right on the classic cut bubble, and I stayed really close to the ramp. barely got in the Classic, by the way, like literally barely. And I tried to play it safe. I did the offshore game, the deeper game. I did mix in some shallow fish, but I didn't. I think I weighed in one during the tournament. Could never get that deal going. There's a couple guys, Jay Yellow, some guys that did catch some really good shallow. The other end of the river seemed to fish a little bit better shallow than the end that we were taking out of. We took out of Waddington last year, but
And see, when I fished, I went back the other way. I went towards
some
Waddington
guys
south.
Yeah, there
or
was
whatever, or
a
north,
few
I guess you
guys.
say.
You talking about towards Messina?
Yeah, towards
Some
Messina.
guys that caught them really good up that way. Brandon Cobb caught them good up there. Seth Fider caught them good up
did.
there.
Me
I
and
think
Fiders-
Steve Kennedy caught them really good up there. Swindle caught them good in that area.
See, and them fish, them smallmouth, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy how much they swim back and forth
Oh,
from deep
yeah.
to shallow.
Yeah.
Because, like, Fider was fishing, he won his, basically won it right there, his Angler of the Year season, or kind of sealed the deal on it. And he was fishing within probably 150, 200 yards where I was fishing at. Now, I was fishing for fish in 30 foot of water, and he's fishing for fish up there in like 4 foot of water on grass flats.
Yeah.
But I think what was happening, I think them fish would literally, because like in practice, dude, like if it got cloudy, if you fished out deep, you could catch some smallmouth. Like they were out there deep when it was cloudy. Now, as soon as the sun come out, it felt like they disappeared. You could catch some, but I feel like they just pushed shallow. They did it at Champlain last year. I noticed that. Like as soon as the sun would come out, they're shallow. And as soon as it got cloudy, it's like you could not get bit shallow. You had to catch them out deep. And I think them fish just kind of like were there in practice out there where I was catching them at. The same fish that he was catching was out there deep in practice, but during the tournament it got sunny. And
Yeah,
they pulled up
and
on
they
that
slid
flat,
up.
and they just caught them up on that flat.
That's a good tip for smallmouth fishermen, because if you know smallmouth, and I'm not a self-proclaimed smallmouth expert by no means,
No.
but what KJ just said is something I've experienced over the years, and that's a smallmouth is an extremely visual feeder, and sun and light penetration is a big deal for a smallmouth to slide up and feed shallow more effectively.
Yeah.
Clouds do the same thing to spotted bass around here. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but clouds will push spotted bass deep. They will actually put them on the bottom sometimes. I've caught them, dragging shaky heads, Ned rigs, drop shots better when it's cloudy.
Everybody thinks that it's a brush pile bite's going to be way better in a bright sunny day, and it's like, no, you want cloud cover.
Yeah,
for spotted bass.
isn't that funny though?
It is.
and
It's
that's a
crazy.
misconception. And I'm not saying you're not going to go out there on a cloudy day and bust them shallow. By all means, I'm not saying
No.
that. But overall, in our experience, those fish seem to bite better, hold tighter to offshore stuff, deeper water when it's cloudy.
I wonder why that is. That's kind of crazy.
Well,
to
a
me.
spotted bass is like a smallmouth.
yeah, it's
they're a
visual.
visual feeder. So.
They just can't
you know-
see as good with that cloud cover, maybe.
Yeah, when it's sunny, I think it sparks those fish to move more because they can see further and they can feed more effectively. But when it's cloudy and they can't see as good, they kind of set up and wait for something to
Come
slide
to 'em.
into their mouth, more or less. So, I mean, that's just my theory. I don't know if that's at all accurate. Y'all give us some of y'all's feedback and your experiences on smallmouth and spotted bass. We're not talking about lazy old largemouth. They'll just hang out anyway, wait for something to swim in their mouth or jump in their mouth. All right, so let's get into a few questions real quick. And we didn't get your thoughts on Oahe and Mississippi River. You talked about St. Lawrence a little bit, but
Yeah.
what are your thoughts heading to those two tournaments?
Hawaii, I'm not really sure. Honestly, I'm probably going to be throwing my live sonar jig head and peanut jig.
Is that what y'all call it? The live sonar
live
jig head?
sonar jig head? That's their new tungsten jig head. I mean, that's a half-ounce jig head. So I mean, I'm hoping I can get a whole different bite, different reaction than what most people are throwing at them. And our little peanut jigs too, which is their little tungsten, finesse peanut jigs, and I'll trim it way down and make it really small and a little small presentation. But I was looking at the map, and dude, if you look
big
at it,
place, isn't it?
it's huge, man. Like, where do you start at? Because you look at the whole lake on the map, and you look at the state, and it goes from the top of the state to the bottom of the state.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's-
it's like, dude, like,
Yeah, it's ginormous.
where are you going to start at? And
So the only thing that I read or heard from other anglers and guys that have been there before that are fishing the elites now are pretty much like, just be thankful you're going out of the end that you're going out of this time. Because last time they said they went out of the, I guess, lower end, whatever that means. And guys were running like 60, 70 miles.
Oh, really?
The guys that caught them good. But from my understanding, we're actually going out of the
Better end.
which probably means the tournament will be one on the opposite
Opposite,
end.
yeah.
But
Somebody will
that
figure
being
something else
said,
out.
maybe we don't have to make a 70-mile run in 4-footers because I hear that place can get extremely rough.
I bet so. The way it's set up, I mean, it's north and south.
Yeah.
You get a right wind,
Like
and
Champlain.
the current comes against it.
Yeah,
You know it's going to be
yeah.
rough.
That could be like Champlain rough, or maybe even worse. I don't know. All
It's,
right.
It looks massive. It looks like a dang sand pit on the map.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it don't look like it have a lot of rock. It might. I'm
have
not sure, but
I'll admit I have not done much map study on that place. I've looked at it a little bit on my Lawrence, but other than that, I have not done a lot of map study. I do a lot of map study and I get preconceived notions, so I try to be as careful as I can. And
I heard
nowadays,
that.
I used to be a little different, but now I'm kind of like I'll figure more out when I get there. Because the first day I usually just use to ride anyway. I don't know if I'm gonna do that now because I might be paying $10 a gallon for gas when I
good
get out
Lord.
there.
No kidding.
No, you can't let that affect your decision. I mean,
No.
because that's part of fishing at this level. You got to do whatever it takes to compete and to do well because everybody else is going to do that.
There ain't nobody else going to stop.
That's right.
Everybody else is all gas, no brakes.
So yeah, that's right. That's a good way to put it. All gas, no brakes. That defines the Elite Series better than I've ever heard. So let's get a couple questions. I'm gonna shoot a couple questions to you. By the way, Mississippi River be right up your alley. Be shallow water power fishing. You can catch them probably flipping a jig, throwing a frog.
Hey, that sounds like me.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's gonna be fun. It should be a lot of fun. Won't be huge weights, but there'll be a lot of fish caught, and definitely a cool area. I've only been there once, but
Sounds like it's like what I don't know. I haven't heard from anything, but what I've watched off videos in the past, it looks like it's just Frog City.
yeah,
I mean-
there's a lot of dead water there though.
Really?
You get around them, you'll know, but there seems to be a lot of dead water. It's not like they live everywhere.
Do you know, like, when you get around them, is it activity? Can you hear the bait and stuff popping and all that in the grass? Or is it,
When we were there, the smallmouth were actually spawning and stuff. A little earlier in the year, it was in May, I think.
does
I can't-
smallmouth play a factor? Will play
They
a
always
factor?
play there.
They
They
do.
always play there for somebody. I finished 11th in that event, and I weighed in 12 smallmouth out of 15 fish, if I'm
Really?
not mistaken. Now a lot of the top 10 weighed in smallmouth, but it was earlier in the year. So this time of year, I imagine it'll be more largemouth dominated. When we
'Cause
go in August.
They'll probably be getting done spawning pretty much.
Yeah, well, no, August. So a lot of those fish are spawning in May and stuff up there.
Oh, okay, they do it early.
Yeah, it's not quite as late as like your St. Clairs or Champlains. I don't think typically, but I'm sure all those fish are probably done by the end of June.
Yeah.
Roughly. So I think when we get there in August, it'll all be they'll be fed back up. They'll be grouped up. It should be good. Should be good. But it'll be an interesting little swing to finish the year off because that's since I've been on the Elite, so we hadn't been nowhere close to those areas. So
Yeah.
I haven't been to Mississippi River since 2017, and I've never been to Hawaii like
Yeah,
you.
I've
So
never been there. I've never been to either one.
either
so.
one. So and that's exciting.
It is.
Because that's
It's a little nerve wracking. I ain't gonna lie. Same sense, because like you get to some of
Yeah.
the places, like you get to Hawaii, dude. That place, it's big.
yeah.
Like so, it's like where do you start at, man? It's like, do you just pick a ramp away from everybody? You drive 40 minutes down the road and just put in and just start fishing.
Just follow your instincts.
You know?
That's all you can do. Follow your instincts. That's what we're all going to be doing when we go there. Because trust me, my roommates and I, none of us have ever seen it, so not in
Yeah.
person. But all right, couple quick questions. Then we're going to talk about a whole nother topic. But let's see. Oh, Ryan, yeah, we'll say a prayer for everybody in his area. He said not normal temperatures for Michigan, obviously. A lot of people lost power in the area. They had a lot of bad storms last night. So he said back in the 80s by this weekend. So, yeah, we'll everybody keep everybody affected by the storms in the area in their prayers. He wants to know, I'm going to let you answer the questions tonight, KJ, since you're our guest. He's in Michigan now, and he has a Wednesday night derby tomorrow after work. He wants to know 2 days of 100-degree temps. Of course, he's in Michigan, in an area that never sees 100-degree temps usually, affect the fish. And how do you think it'll affect the fish?
I think it's gonna speed up the spawn very fast.
Well, let's see, they're in June now, right? What date is it? Is it June? It's June.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's KJ.
It's
looking on
June
his phone.
14th.
The life of a professional angler forgets what month it is, what day it is. June 14th. Yeah, so they should be. It's be spawning hard and heavy up there. I don't know what lake he's fishing, but
It might
yeah.
might push them off though. I feel like might speed them up faster than what it should.
talk about the experience you have with seeing how that affects the spawn when it gets super hot, super fast.
Super hot, super fast. I've seen. I don't know about smallmouth because I've fished for smallmouth here and there. I've done a few different trips. You go to St. Lawrence when they're spawning and stuff. But like I know a spotted bass. Like if it's heating up quick and fast, they'll come up and do it within. I've seen a spot spawn within 5 hours. I've seen them come up, make a bed, spawn, leave, and be done within 5 hours.
Sounds like a Florida bass.
Like during a tournament, I've seen it. I had me and my dad was fishing for one. It was like a 3.5 pound female, and it only had like a little 1.5 pound buck with it. But they paired up. We seen them paired up onto the stump. They started fanning their bed. We fished for them, couldn't get nothing to react. Come back to them an hour or two later. They were still there, sitting there fanning their bed. And then come back to them 3 hours later. They were spawning. And then come back to them 5 hours later, and that fish was already gone.
The female was gone.
The female was gone. It was crazy.
Yeah, so depending on what stage of the spawn that those fish are in Michigan right now, Ryan, I'd look for that to speed up extremely quick. So if you got any bedfish marked, I wouldn't bank on them. That's what KJ's saying.
Yeah.
But
probably not. I don't know. At least maybe some secondary stuff where they'd be going to fishing post-spawn stuff and
that's
places
right.
where they're going to be headed that way. At least try to stay ahead of them.
There should be a really, really good. I don't know where he's fishing, and I don't know what the current water temps and situations are. So it's kind of hard for us to give our input on it's kind of touchy situation, so to speak. So, but yeah, I imagine there's full blown spawn of smallmouth up in Michigan area, and man, them smallmouth on the bed, they're just like taking candy from a baby.
Oh, it's so much fun. If a man ever hasn't experienced to go up north, it don't even matter. Just in that general region, do some smallmouth fishing when they're on the beds. It's just lights out, dude. That's awesome. Like I love that stuff because I love sight fishing. And we do it a lot at Lake Norman and stuff, and I've done it my whole life.
It's a little different than fishing for them smallmouth on the bed, ain't it?
No kidding. It's like it's too easy almost. You don't even have to hit the bed on them. You just throw near it.
That's funny you said that. One of the first times I went to Lake Champlain, it was an FLW event, and I was a co-angler. And this was like 06, 05, 06. I drew out with none other than Mr. Wesley Strader. And I was a co-angler. Wesley said he was going smallmouth fishing, and a lot of it was in June. Smallmouth were spawning everywhere, and he was actually throwing a little grub on a spinning rod, just a little smoked purple grub, just casting around on light line on a spinning rod, just winding it. And, dude, he was catching spawn and smallmouth, but I don't even know if he actually ever landed in a bed of one. He was just winding it by him.
Just going past him.
Yeah, he was just going past them. And this was, they just wind it past him. They come 2 foot off the bed and eat that little grub. And I don't know how many he caught. I mean, he had a good solid Champlain bag, 16, 17 pounds. And
is that not crazy how that place, how, like, the weights are so stacked at that place?
Oh, it's crazy.
Like, a quarter pound is, like, the difference in between, like, 10 places.
Yeah, 50th will be 15 pounds and 40th will be 15.1.
Yeah.
Or, 50th will be 15 even and 40th will be 15.6. You know, something like that.
So, yeah, it's crazy. It's like literally a half a pound is the difference in 10 places almost.
That's right.
I've never seen anywhere that's just got, that's where, I feel like that's one of the best fisheries. That's one of the best fisheries I've ever fished on.
It is a phenomenal fishery and beautiful place. And I'm sure bass, I know bass will be back eventually. I don't know if we're going back next year, but always welcome the even though it's 16 hours driving time, but
it's a good little haul.
Always welcome that trip because Champlain is a amazing fishery. All right, question from Ryan for you, KJ.
Alrighty.
What is your biggest fear on the water? We've talked about ours before on the show. I know Brian and I have.
My biggest fear 100% is lightning. Lightning scares the crap out of me. I've been struck by lightning before.
So you're not one of them guys in the middle of an elite tournament, final day, you're leading it, and the lightning strikes out there on the water. You going to the dock, or you gonna keep fishing?
I'd probably keep fishing.
So, you ain't that scared of it,
I'm scared of it, but if I got a chance at winning it, yeah, you know what I mean. That's a hard choice. Now, if it's popping down and going crazy, yeah, I probably will. Because honestly, if that lightning hits you square on, you're dead. I got so fortunate. Me and my buddy Adam Parker, whenever we were I was in high school. We went out and we was fishing. I was in my old Ranger boat, and the storm come through, and it was just nasty lightning storm. We went and hid underneath the dock and waited it out. Well, it was like 15 minutes after it quit raining. It was a little cloudy in the sky, and he's like, dude, come on, let's go. I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's kind of dark still. Like, should we go? Should we stay here a little longer? He's like, oh, dude, don't be no wuss, man. Let's just go fish. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we went out through there, and we started fishing. It was sun shining out, clouds on one side, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, dude, just lightning bolt hit, and everything went white.
Oh.
Couldn't see anything, nothing. Everything went white. I was standing on a middle platform that I built inside of my boat, made out of wood, and it had like foam on top of it. And my big toes were on the carpet of my boat. I got shocked in my feet, my toes. My big toes got shocked. Everything else on me was fine. Now, Adam, he was on the front, on the trolling motor, on the carpet and on like the metal plate of the trolling motor. Everything from like his chest down was numb for 3 or 4 hours later.
Oh, I bet that was scary.
Yeah.
Man.
It hit him so hard, it made him like lightheaded and everything. We started to take off, the trolling motor was still down. It was
Lord.
crazy, man. But I mean, it fried all the batteries in my boat, completely melted them all down, fried the charger. It was crazy. But like, that made me to where I'm like, all right, lightning storm gets
Started
near.
taking it seriously.
It's like, you got to be serious, because like I got fortunate that I'm still alive, because I mean, it could have been just a hair or two off, and I would have been dead, you know. It's
when your rod starts singing or your line starts floating,
it starts floating up
that's
in the
my
air,
sign
you
to
hear
move.
it crack and pop. It's like,
That's my sign to move. If you have not experienced that, then I
hope you don't.
Yeah, I hope you never do, because you line when it's going from the tip of your rod down to the water. When it starts rising up, your line, talking about your line, and your rod starts humming, and you feel it vibrating, get off the water.
Yeah,
100% get off the water. If you can't see lightning, it's close enough to kill you. I can tell you that right now.
That's the truth.
2 more questions, then we're going to get into another topic. We got to talk about KJ's keepers. But 2 more questions. I'm going to shoot them to you, KJ. This is a good one from Rusty. He said, Mike, real quick, he just asked a question about our current topic. We're talking about lightning on the water. What's the correct protocol for lightning on the water? Well, we're at our own risk, basically. I mean, the protocol with bass is that we're not like MLF. We don't have weather delays and things like that, you know. And I say that because I just think that's silly, because we're grown men, and if, you know,
we have to make a decision,
you make a decision. And I'll tell you what my decision is. If it starts lightning close to me, I'm getting off the water. I'm getting in a safe place, and off the water, it might be under a sheltered dock or something somewhere I'm less likely to get
direct
in trouble.
contact. Yeah.
So or direct contact. That's right. But anyway, yeah. To answer your question, Mike, there's not an actual protocol that Bass has in place for all the anglers to meet at a certain place or anything like that.
Don't you know the marshals that we have? That they've been some days where they just
not the marshals that I have, but the marshals that some of the guys have, probably, because the marshals that I have are safe.
Yeah.
They're going to be. I mean, I'm going to try to keep them as safe as I can, but I can't speak for all the guys out there. You know, Lord help, like Brian News Marshal. I don't know what he would do. He
hold on. You better strap him down with a.
Yeah, let's go for a spin. We're going to move, and he starts running towards it instead of away from it. But no, I don't. Just picking on New. But all right. This question from I'm gonna hit you with 2 questions real quick.
Alrighty.
Austin Burdett. Austin's got a great question about advice for a co-angler. Any advice? Because you fished as a co-angler, something.
Correct.
I fished as a co-angler, but it's been like 45 years ago. I'm gonna let you answer it. No, it's not been that long. But he wants to hear your thoughts. Any advice that you would have for a co-angler that's fishing behind? He said a good pro. You know, a good pro. He's, I mean, that's funny because Austin said that, because if you're fishing behind a bad pro, you're probably not going to have problems catching fish. As long as he puts you around them.
Gets you around fish, you should be good.
But to me, there's no bad pros.
Yeah. I mean, if you get to that level.
Pros kind of a
you
different.
You got to have to.
Pros, a term that's thrown around a lot. That's why I say there's no bad pros.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of boaters, maybe at the BFL level or something like that you might get paired with, that puts you around a lot of bass, but they might not
be able to catch them.
Well, yeah, that's right. But give him some advice on that, and then give him some advice on when he wants to make the switch to the boater side.
So for me, I did co-angling,
Oh, he said hashtag not spitting out, by the way. So, yeah.
not spinning out.
Yeah.
So when I went through and did the co-angling, like I did it in the BFLs. I went through and I actually qualified for the All-American. I was one of the youngest to actually make and qualify for the All-American whenever I fished it. And then the next following year, I jumped straight up into college fishing. So like I was in high school when I did that. And then the next year, I was in college, so I didn't really do any of the BFLs and stuff. I was mainly, running around the country doing, the college fishing. But like whenever I was fishing as a co-angler, I mean, my go-to, like even today, like if I got pressured fish, you can always pull out like a wacky worm, and you can catch fish on a wacky worm. I mean, but the deal is if you can like throw it in places that not everybody else is throwing it. Like you got to throw it around, say, even if you have to throw it underneath the dock and let it soak, and it takes it, 15 seconds to sink to the bottom. Everybody else is going up to that same place, and they're throwing a jig or throwing a worm or throwing something else, and it goes in there and it falls fast, gets to the bottom, they work it out. And that fish sees it. Sometimes they don't react to it, and especially if you're fishing behind a boater, if he's really picking stuff apart, you got to have something that's just completely different and something supernatural, I think, that's just going to make a fish say, all right, I'm going to eat it. Because, I mean, I've fished as a boater before, too, and I've had several co-anglers be throwing something super, super finesse when I'm sitting there trying to power fish them, and they'll catch a lot bigger fish than what what I'm catching. But it's like a fine line in between of going super finesse or trying to power fish to, a lot of times you'll catch your bigger fish power fishing, but sometimes you have to finesse them. And I feel like 100% if you're around a good angler that is really catching fish, you consider a good pro or whatnot, I feel like you have to finesse them. But you got to throw, Nico rigs, wacky rigs, even going on down to like 6 and 8 pound tests, throwing drop shots and stuff of that nature. Line size. I'm a huge stickler on line size. I've seen line size make a huge difference everywhere we go in the country.
100%.
I mean
that, and you touched on it a little bit, but power fishing and finesse fishing, a good professional is not going to leave a lot of unfished water. It doesn't even matter if he's catching them off of just stumps. A good professional angler is still going to keep them honest by fishing everything in between those stumps. So I would normally say you could power fish or finesse fish, but doing a combination of both. What KJ's doing, and also paying real close attention to your boater's presentation, not necessarily his retrieve, but his presentation. Where's his bait landing? Because if he's throwing something that's falling fast or covering water, or he's making a cast with a spinnerbait and winding it by dock paws, or whatever he's doing, pay real close attention to the angle that he's fishing and the angle that he's presenting his bait, and just try to present it from a different angle and target possibly a fish that he's not actually targeting. Or if you're in a situation to where you don't have that option, like if he's really tight to the bank or something like that, targeting fish out away from the bank, back behind the boat, out the channel, whatever it is, that he is not even fishing for. So
trying to make the odds in your favor, basically. Take out all the negatives, because I mean he's gonna make the cast. Don't get upset and throw over top of somebody and be that guy, the co-angler. He's paid his way to be a boater. He's there. Let him fish his stuff, and he's gonna get the best cast on it. But that don't mean that you can't fish it a little bit different than how he fished it and get that fish to react.
And here's the cold hard truth about my experience with good co-anglers and bad co-anglers, and none of the co-anglers are bad people. Don't get me wrong. Like about 99.9% of everybody I've met in this industry has been great, especially the co-anglers I've had.
Bass fishermen's usually, I mean,
and I haven't had co-anglers in quite a few years fishing at this level, but back in the BFL days and things like that. If you respected me and were patient with me and let me do my thing and catch my 5, then I would take care of my co-anglers. But if you were the guy that was matching me cast for cast, trying to throw over me, trying to beat me to targets on the opposite side of the cove, things like that, you're going to have a hard time catching a bass that day.
You ain't
I can
get
promise
many
you.
casts.
I mean, I'm not saying that to brag on myself. I'm saying that because I was going to make it a point for me to protect my water and fish more defensively, and that changes everybody's day when that happens.
It does.
So, like KJ said, just be respectful. If you have a question, just ask. If you have a concern, just ask. Like, communication is always the biggest thing in our on the water.
Well,
that's the most important
for
thing.
like this last tournament at Pickwick, how many times did people pull up and fish
Right.
with each other, you
Yep.
know? And a lot of times, you know, I hate kind of seeing it, you know, because I feel like, you know, if you got a spot, it almost should be like your spot, kind of like type deal. But with Pickwick, you have to do that because there's only a few places out there.
Yeah.
You know, there's only a few certain
There's
few
less
schools.
now than there
and-
ever was.
Yeah, no kidding. And, you know, there's a few different, you know, few schools, and you kind of have to divvy it up. But, like, you pull up on somebody, don't just pull up and be a jackwagon.
Yeah, don't be the guy that just rolls up there and starts casting right next to him.
Yeah, be like, hey, man, you care if
Talk.
I fish
Talk
with
it
you?
out.
And 9 times out of 10, if you talk with somebody, they ain't going to care. They're just like me and you. We can sit there and talk and actually have a good conversation while we both sit here and try and get these fish fired up and catch them. You know, it's like work together to get them fired up.
Yep.
Get the school fired together.
That's a great advice. We talked a little bit about this on the last show, but you know, one thing about ledge fishing is I actually do welcome, as long as it's not like a one cast deal. You know, like I'm throwing to a rock pile size of this table or something
Yeah.
crazy. I welcome another boat on a big offshore school because now, and I say another boat. 2 professional anglers working together on an offshore school of fish with co-anglers not in the picture is, to me, a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
As long as you're willing to work together. 3 is a crowd, 2's perfect.
Yeah. You can hit it from different angles.
That's right.
And you don't get crossover too much. And if you do, it's not that big of a deal. You know?
That's right.
But 3, and then when you start having 3, and you got a boat here, and you got a boat here, and a boat here,
gets
and
complicated.
then y'all start
It
crossing,
gets
casting
complicated,
different
yep.
ways, then that's a pain. But now if you can get, you know, if you work together, and I think honestly doing rub rails, fishing side by side, you're way better
Or if you're
off.
on a big mega school that's stretched out, you can kind of
Yeah, one end of it and another
that's
got
right.
the other
That's
end
right.
of it. Yeah.
It just depends on the spot how it sets up. One more quick question, guys. I'm sorry we can't get to all the questions, but a couple comments that you need to go back and watch our last episode. You probably hadn't listened to it or heard it, but me talking about Gerald's take on having quote spots on the lake because Gerald, I'm talking about Swindle G-Man. He had some good intel and a good point of view on kind of talking about how people think they own the spots, but because the field's inverted, you know, the first 2 days of the tournament, not counting day 3 and day 4, you know, that's different. The guy going in with a 50-pound lead or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, being respectful on day 3 and day 4 is a different ball game. But because the field's inverted on day 1 and day 2, talking about, you know, if you draw boat number 1 and I draw boat number 50 and you and I are trying to get the same spot, you know, and I go there and you sit there and you say, nah, you know, I don't really want you to fish it with me, and you catch 25 pounds that day and you're leading the tournament. Well, if I want to start it the first day and you didn't allow me to fish with you, I'm going to start it the second day. I don't care if
Yeah,
you're leading the
I don't
tournament.
care. I'm gonna be
Because you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And because the field's inverted, that's just mean you got luckier than I did in the draw.
Yeah.
And that's not right for the outcome of the tournament.
No.
Now, on day 3, if you got 50 pounds and I got 30,
Yeah, have
and
some
we both made the
respect.
cut, and you've been fishing that spot all day, every day, that's a little different. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's you know, that's neither here nor there. If you, by the way, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Let's Talk Fish. Anybody that doesn't know, we do all our episodes live on YouTube now. We used to be on Facebook. We've we've had a pretty good turnout on our live viewership. A lot of questions, especially tonight. KJ, you've had a ton of questions. But be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch up on all our old shows that we've had over the last few weeks. We're trying to play catch up now because we haven't been able to get in the studio as much as we like this year due to Brian and I's conflicting schedules. But I'm fortunate enough to have some good friends and fellow elite anglers nearby that can come sub for Mr. Thrift when he decides to bail and go to the beach. But anyway.
Hey, I was a beach bum last week, so
You
I
were a
can't
beach
say
bum
too
last
much.
week?
Yeah,
Well.
I went to the Outer Banks after. I literally drove, man. I drove from Pickwick at I got up that morning at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and drove all day. And I got there at the Outer Banks at I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. It took forever. I hit
wow.
traffic, man, standstill. It was awful, but hey, made it to the beach. It was a good time. But
Well, real quick, tell Rusty what Norman is like in July. Lake Norman in July. Give us a quick little summary. And I say quick like a minute because we're going to run out of time before we get to talk about the actual topic of the show.
Norman in July, well, basically to sum it all up, the best thing you need to know, you need to have a helmet, some knee pads, some arm pads, and just get ready to take a beating from the wake boats, because that's about what Norman's
If
like
anybody
in
saw my
July.
post It might have been yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I made a post, and it was a picture that actually McCoy, Scott Martin's YouTube, Martin, McCoy's my buddy who travels with us, who does all Scott Martin's YouTube stuff. He does all the editing and producing for the Scott Martin SMC channel. He was out on the water taking pictures, and he took a picture, and I was out there fishing offshore school, and behind me there was like a 45-foot yacht and like a 65-foot yacht, and they were like right behind me stacked. It was a great picture because it was a great description on kind of what you'll experience on Lake Norman in July.
That sounds about right.
This was Pickwick on a Saturday, but still, truth be told, KJ said be prepared for rough water.
Yeah, it's fun, right now, fishing wise. If you want to talk about fishing,
get out there early.
Brush piles, you got to get early. And if you can get up and get out about 3:00 in the morning, son, you better hold on.
Oh,
you can
yeah.
get your arm broke.
Yeah.
You get your arm broke at 3:00 in the morning right now, but
Yeah, that's good advice there. Norman in July, fish from 3 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and then go back to the house.
Go back to the house and call it a day. Or go hop on an inner tube and ride around the back of the ski boat. That's about it.
Right, there you go. All right, so Chris Brown. It's funny you said that. First of all, congratulations to Chris. He said he's late to the show, but greetings from the ICN with his newborn and future LTF fan. So speaking of newborns, the topic of the show tonight was KJ's keepers. And KJ is recently become a new father, 2 months.
2 months?
2 months ago, to twin boys.
Callan and Cash.
Callan and Cash, twin boys. And first of all, congratulations to you and Kaylee.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I know I'm a father of two girls, Reese and Ren. They're not twins, but I told him, I said there's pros and cons to having twins.
Oh, there's definitely pros and cons.
But tell us about that experience and becoming a dad for the first time.
It's incredible. I mean, it's one of the coolest. You have people tell me, and I've had tons of people tell me like, oh, it's going to be the craziest experience in your life. Like it's going to change your life, and it's the coolest thing you'll ever experience. And there's no question about it, no doubt in my mind. It's the most awesome experience I've ever experienced in my life. Like it completely changed my life. It changed my outlook at life and everything else. I mean, them two little boys. I mean, I think they're the cutest little boys in the whole world. But that might just be me. But I mean, it's incredible.
They're pretty cute. I've seen pictures.
They're pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm telling you, just having them, it's just kind of like. It happened so fast. Like just like with her being pregnant and when she went through with her pregnancy and then, we're fishing the Elite Series, I'm down at Santee. She's getting really high blood pressure and everything else. Like
things are starting to progress.
Yeah, this season, Santee, it was getting closer.
At least you were at Santee and not Lake Oahe.
Yeah, that is very true. And then we went to Chick, and it's like Chick is like, all right, they're about to be here. I mean, it's like they're coming out, and literally the day after or 2 days after I got back from Chick, that's whenever they were born. And it's the coolest experience I ever had in my life. There's no doubt about it.
It's surreal because like you don't makes you appreciate your parents a lot more.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does. It makes you appreciate. It's like, yep, I was one of them little babies that was sitting there crying and fussing and needing my butt wiped too.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
well, they are cute kids, and again, congratulations from all of us here at LTF.
Thank you.
There's nothing like it. I promise you, there's nothing like it. And while we're on that topic, and Ryan's already mentioned it, but there is a little baby luck factor that seems to always fly around in our industry. When somebody has a new baby, they ended up having fairly immediate success, on tour. And I've seen a lot of tournaments won, like, right after, they had a baby.
After a baby.
So,
well, hopefully.
Not jinxing you or anything, but
knock on some wood. But
we got 3 events left this year. You got 2, and you have twins. And actually, Ryan said that. He said, does that mean you get twice the baby luck? But I think if you win one, that'd be enough. I'd be happy with one.
I'd be happy with one.
Yeah, I'd be happy with one.
I'd be tickled with one. But I ain't lying. I'd take 2 in a heartbeat now. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong.
that's right. That's right. Take whatever we can get.
That's right.
Morgan Beach, what's up? He said, hey, guys, first time watching and enjoying the show. I'm in, he said, Waxhaw. I said he. Could be a she. Sorry. Apologize, Morgan, if it's Morgan. So is that a female Morgan or a male Morgan?
Morgan Wallen? I don't know.
Let's see.
How's he spell it?
To female Morgans spell theirs a certain way. Do you know this, KJ?
I know how to catch a fish every once in a while.
He's he said meant to ask. He's assuming Lake Wiley's the same as Norman right now.
Yeah.
So he meant when he said Norman in July, he meant Wiley in July. Man, I would just forget Wiley and go to Norman. Norman seems to be fishing a lot better, but yeah.
How is Wiley? I've heard Wiley is kind of. I heard it was coming up a little bit, getting better fishing wise, and it kind of went back downhill, and then.
I have no idea.
Really?
I just know Wiley has been in a little bit of a downswing the last couple of years.
I'd like to see
Morgan
him.
said he's a male. Thanks, Morgan.
Appreciate
and no
it.
offense, I hope. It just has an M. Doesn't have a profile picture beside his name, so we don't want to offend anybody on this show. We do that enough accidentally. So, but yeah, it's in a lake cycle. You know, I'm sure it'll come back.
Eventually hit its swing and come on
and
back.
it probably is in an upswing now. You know, I'd be lying if I said I've been paying close attention because I haven't been on Wiley in been probably 2 years.
Really?
Honestly,
It's probably been a couple months since I've been down there on it. It's been a while.
a couple months. Oh,
Yeah.
I said 2 years.
Yeah, I fished it recently. It's been,
You fished it this year.
It was like, this year.
Well,
but
how was it for you?
I caught fish, but there are a lot of smaller fish, a lot of spots in there now.
Yeah,
a lot of smaller spots. But I feel like a lot of people talk trash on the spots, and like, oh man, they're gonna ruin the lake, this, that, and another, and yada yada yada. But dude, I think once some spots get in there and actually take off and start doing good, I think the lake will blow up. I think it'll be a phenomenal lake.
Yeah.
Once the spots take over. Now, I mean, I don't know if they'll take completely over, but I think once there's a higher population of it, where you can just go along and just go down and fish docks and fish
get bit constantly.
Get constant bites. Yeah. It'd be kind of like Norman. I feel like once it takes over.
And I agree. And for anybody that doesn't that's not aware, I actually did a podcast with you didn't know this. They actually came to the shop and set up. I did a podcast with the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission several weeks back. And it was with two of the fisheries biologists in the state. A couple of the higher, Corey, and oh Lord, I'm not gonna say the other one's name because I'll forget it. I'll say it wrong. But anyway, we did a podcast and we talked about all sorts of different topics, from shockings to spotted bass, influence on different fisheries, to the smallmouth fishery at James, to Wiley's state, current state. But it was really interesting. I learned a lot, and I would encourage anybody. I think you can go on their Facebook page, North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission. You can. The name of their podcast is funny because it's like two bald biologists podcast. They're both bald, so
really?
Obviously they're fisheries biologists with North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission. But we had a really good time, and like I said, I learned a lot about our fisheries. I learned a lot about their goals and expectations with some of the different lakes in the state. We talked about the F1 deal at Lake Norman.
What do you think they're going to do with the F1s? Do you think they're going to keep stocking more into it, or are they going to just
I think it's going to be a while before they really figure out. You need to listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to encourage you to listen to that
I
podcast
will.
because we talked pretty extensively about that whole topic. And, it's not just an overnight thing. It's one of those things that, one of the things that they told me was the reason they agreed to do this at Lake Norman, and I know some of the local anglers had a lot to do with it too, had a lot of support from some of the local anglers to try this. Norman does not have great water quality, compared to a lot of other fisheries in our state.
I agree.
And if the F1s thrive and they do good in a lake like Norman, then that will go ahead and tell them that, hey, this is going to work, and they can branch out and possibly do that introduction to other fisheries. But I would encourage everybody to listen to that podcast because it's really cool, especially if you're a North Carolina resident. They talk a lot about the pros and cons of fish biology and invasive species and restocking programs and introducing new species and new breeds and things like that. It was really interesting. It was a lot of fun.
That is cool.
But all right, so anything? All right, so being a dad of twins, What's been your favorite part and what's been your least favorite part? I know what your least favorite part is. Probably lack of sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep is that's hard. I mean, I've been up since 2:00 last night. I've been up since 2 this morning, and they've been fussy all morning this morning. But it's been like that for 2 months now. It feels like, but the pros of it though. I mean, just
everything
about
everything
it.
else.
I mean, I mean, you can't beat. There's just nothing wrong with them. I think not one thing wrong with it. Now I might not get much sleep, but it's worth every bit of it.
Well, enjoy
me.
those moments because before you know it, those sleepless nights are gone and they're growing up faster than you can ever imagine. And it's bittersweet because we all want our sleep, but at the same time, man, I got a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. I already missed the days when they would wake up in the middle of the night whining,
Mm-hmm.
For mommy or daddy, and that's just that's a special time.
It is very special. It's just bonding time with them right now. It's awesome, and it's really cool because we kind of got a little break now in between our season.
Yep.
So it's nice that I can actually spend.
You're welcoming that break right now,
Yeah.
no doubt. And we have a couple more weeks. So y'all just recently made a little beach trip. Are y'all making another one anytime soon, or y'all gonna
We're probably going to do another one here
before?
soon. Yeah, before
St.
we go
Lawrence?
back out.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Whereabouts? Yeah, where
Myrtle.
you
We're going to go to Myrtle.
Go
We
to
went to the
Myrtle?
Outer
Okay.
Banks this last time, but we'll probably go to Myrtle this next time.
going? Let them see old Myrtle, huh?
Yeah, let them experience.
Take them down the
old-
strip.
Old dirty Myrtle.
Old dirty Myrtle. All right. Ryan, no, man, my babysitting days are over. Actually, they never really existed except for my own children. So I'm not a babysitter. But no, I'm not offering my babysitting service. I'd take care of the twins. Actually, my oldest daughter, she's of age now to where she'd probably she'd do it for about probably an hour and a half, and then I'd have to take over. She'd go jump on her iPad or go outside or whatever. But I kind of am babysitting now. We got a new puppy at the house, so it's just like having a new baby. And it's actually kind of worse because they don't have diapers on, So.
Oh, they just let it go wherever they want to go.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys, gals. Sorry, we're out of time tonight, but you are still get a treat with a little trivia giveaway. I know Matt just asking KJ talk Queen Tackle some great products. We don't have time to talk about. We talked about the Queen Tackle earlier and some of the products he's giving away, and he actually talked about some of that, Matt, earlier in the show. This show will be up on our YouTube channel immediately after. You'll be able to go back and watch it. It'll be on all the podcast platforms. You'll be able to download it and listen to it there. But trivia question time. I think we got a pretty good trivia question.
Yeah,
And
I
we're
think
giving
so.
away some really
For
cool Queen Tackle products. So if you're ready, I'm ready. You know the answer.
I know the answer.
You better know the answer.
I know the answer.
All right. So trivia question time. And now I did get some messages last week from some viewers complaining that, on their feed they saw that they had the correct answer before so-and-so, that we gave the trivia. Whatever comes through our feed here in the studio first is the one that we have to award, okay?
We'll call it on that one. The first one that comes
The first
in
one that comes through our feed, your feed may not be the same as our feed as far as timing. Y'all have to please bear with us on that because it's something we learned very early in these shows that the way things are transmitted through this so-called internet is a little bit different all over. So whatever we see, whatever correct answer we see first coming through our feed is the official winner. We'll announce it, and then you will send us a message with all your shipping information on our Facebook page, on our Let's Talk Fish Facebook page, and we'll get it shipped out to you. So, all right, you want to ask the question?
I'll let you do it.
Okay, all right. KJ, you
I'll
don't
let
want to
you
mess it up, do you?
I
got to make sure I word it right. Yep. All right. I think I got it. All right, here we go. Trivia question time for the Queen Tackle Pack giveaway. What is the cumulative, or what was the cumulative weight total of KJ and Kaylee's twins when they were born? Okay. What, did I ask that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good.
What's the total weight?
What was the total cumulative weight? I say cumulative because I'm thinking like bass terms. What's the total weight of KJ and Kaylee's twin boys when they were born? Okay, all right. Everybody got it because we got answers rolling in really, really, really fast. Ryan, I did good. I didn't give the answer away. But we need it exact, okay? We need it exact. And we'll get an exact. It might take a little bit, but we'll get an exact. We got them rocking and rolling.
They're rolling
now.
in right now.
All right, you keep an eye out, KJ. I'm gonna if we don't get an answer, a correct answer, real quick, I'm gonna go back and try to. That's so funny. Gary West said when you talk about Myrtle Beach, he pictures Eastbound and Down. Did you ever watch that? Eastbound and Down. Eastbound and Down.
I've seen parts of it. I ain't never watched the whole thing.
Oh man, it might be on Netflix or something, but now I can't remember if it is or not. But yeah, it's hilarious. You need to check that out. $4.60 a gallon in North Texas right now. $4.99 in Michigan right now. We're still all under $5, so I mean I hate to say that's a plus, but we take off to New York and
I hope it stays under 5. It'd be all right with me.
No
It probably
correct
won't be.
answers yet.
I've seen a close one right there.
Wow, Ryan said 22 pounds. 2 11-pounders. That'd be, whew, son, that'd be tough. Jeff's in the other room, and he said, goodness. 2 11-pounders. Ooh, Lord, that'd be tough. All right. I mean, I've seen some close ones. I haven't seen some exact ones, but I've seen some close ones. If we don't, I've seen some real close ones, actually.
Little hint. They were 2 weeks early, if that gives anybody a little hint.
2 weeks early. KJ gave a good, that's a good hint.
2 weeks
KJ
early.
gave a good hint. They were 2 weeks early. So that should help a little bit. They definitely weren't 2 11-pounders at 2 weeks early. Man, we're getting a lot. I don't know if we're going to get one. We could set a record tonight, Jeff. God, they're coming through quick. You'll do what? Wow. I mean, they are rocking and rolling. And I mean, I've seen, 150 guesses already?
I guarantee you missed one.
Oh, there's one that's real close.
Let me get a show up in here so I can get a winner.
You don't even know the right answer, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
Whew.
Yeah, man, I still don't have one. I'm going to try to scroll back and, all right, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out, KJ, because I'm going to scroll back.
All right, they're getting closer.
Yeah, we're getting real close. Let me see.
I got a.
You got one? I ain't seen it. Oh, yeah. All right, we got one.
That's the first one. That's the first one.
That's the first one that came through our feed. Don't send me a bunch of direct messages tomorrow yelling at me because it's not that's the only one I've seen.
You seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
I ain't seen it yet.
K. Burnham, 78. K. Burnham, 78. 11 pounds even.
On the dot.
11.0 pounds even on the dot. That is the first one that I saw it. It actually did come through my feed, Jeff. All right. So K. Burnham, 78 is the winner of the Queen Tackle Pack giveaway. If you will send us a message on our Facebook page, on the Let's Talk Fish Facebook page with your shipping information, we will get this headed out the door to you ASAP. We still got answers rolling in. Mine might be a little bit delayed or something. But anyways, we have one.
Oh, yeah, I finally got it come through on mine.
Same one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
K-Burn.
I haven't seen another one.
I haven't seen another one
So it doesn't,
yet.
I guess it doesn't matter at this point. Hopefully I won't get cussed out by somebody randomly on Facebook tomorrow. But, all right, so y'all, KJ, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you having me.
Anything you got to add? You want to add?
If you want to check out queentackle.com, go on there and use KJ Queen 20 and get 20% off on all
Ooh.
Queen Tackle stuff.
Oh, I need that code. I don't even get 20%. KJ Queen 20.
KJ Queen
KJ
20.
Queen
All-
20.
All caps.
All right.
Caps.
Y'all better write that down. KJ Queen 20, all caps, 20% off. Anything on the site?
Anything on the site. Anything Queen Tackle, 20%
Is
off.
that good, like, forever?
Yeah.
Or is until y'all turn it off,
This
I guess?
year, at least. We usually do a different one every year, but that's mine this year.
Very
KJ
nice.
Queen 20.
Is there a minimum purchase on that? Or
No, there's not.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
It's a good deal.
That's pretty awesome.
It's all
Queen 20.
premium tungsten products too. So everything we deal in is tungsten. So.
It's good stuff. Like KJ said, whether they want to admit it or not, there's a lot of elite guys out there that use their
There
stuff.
I see.
I'll admit I use some of her stuff. I use her jigs. I use her jigs a lot. I've used what else have I used? I've used some of the switchblades because I got some from you in the middle of a tournament one time.
Yeah.
And but yeah, phenomenal products. Check them out. And KJ, you can follow him on social media. KJ Queen Fishing.
That's right.
On
KJ Queen
Facebook
Fishing.
and Instagram.
Yep, that's right.
And be sure to follow KJ on the Elites the rest of this season. He's probably got some of that new baby luck swinging his way. If I was a fantasy fishing guy, simply because of the babies, I'd put you on my team.
Well, hey.
And then, then there's Polinick, who just had a baby. By the way, congrats to Polinick and Tiffany
Yeah, definitely. Congrats.
on their
man.
newborn. But he doesn't really need any of the baby luck. I think he's doing just fine. So we're going to wish all the baby luck on KJ. No offense, Brandon. We love you. But all right, so it's been a good night. And 2 weeks in a row, baby. I hate to say it. We will not be here next week, which is, I want to mention why. Next Tuesday night, if you're in Cleveland County and you're looking to get involved with the CCBA, Cleveland County Bass Anglers, which is the new club that we formed last year for the youth of Cleveland County. They've competed in the high school, middle school tournaments all across the state. 30-something kids involved in the program. Lunkertex is actually a big supporter of that program. And I will be there. Keith and Barry, Barry Self and Keith Latham have rented out the Bobby Bell Pavilion in Uptown Shelby for a cookout next week for the boat captains, the sponsors, and all the anglers that are currently in the CCBA, and for anybody looking to get more information or possibly join the CCBA for next year. Guys, it's a great organization. It is the future of our sport. If you've got a kid in middle school or high school that's interested in checking it out, please come by. I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe it starts around 6:30. Is that right? I told you that, Jeff, but is it 6:30? I think it's 6:30. But any kid in Cleveland County that listens or hears this on the podcast, please come by if you have any interest whatsoever. I'll be over there with my boat and truck talking fishing, and if nothing else, just come over to say hey.
Man, that's awesome.
Hot dog or hamburger or whatever, come over and say hey. But yeah, if KJ, again, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate you filling
Glad
in.
y'all have me on the show.
Appreciate you filling in for Smoke while he's down there sticking his toes in the sand or drinking sun dropper. I'm sure that was just chugging sun drop with his toes in the sand. I don't know what else he's doing right now, but chasing Cooper and Wiley around somewhere. But anyway, we can't go fishing. We'll sit right here and talk fish, and we'll see y'all soon.